Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So I came across a video. I mean, it's more like it's a debate, right? Jubilee debate. And that video really got me kind of thinking when Donald Trump said that he loved the poorly educated. And it looks like it's true. Sometimes when I see a person of color, right, defending Republicans with all his might and with all his strength, it's in kind of I don't know, it pisses me off. Why? Because they should know better. But sometimes they really do not know better. But I'll leave them at wherever they are till they decided to wake up by themselves. So I saw this video where they were talking about tax court for DEI, right? And this Asian guy was just busy spewing what I did not understand. And that also reminds me how they thought Black people were the sole benefactors of affirmative action and all that, not until they started the petition, and the next thing there is no affirmative action, and then they understood what they did to themselves, right? Because you as an Asian man aligning with white supremacists is just something that I try so hard to wrap my head around. But I will still leave you people at where you all are, because you all will never change, right? So he was talking about how companies that employ Black and brown people, how they get tax cuts, and how government agencies also pay tax. They are trying to explain to him, but he refused to understand. Let's get into this.
I'm talking about Trump's rescission of these orders
If you received a
on
tax
these
cut
agencies.
as an employer, wouldn't you hire a person of color?
Dude,
If you could pay them less?
listen, we're talking about government agencies that do not get tax cuts. Government agencies.
They don't.
No,
Yes,
these are.
they do. They absolutely do.
I'm talking about
Every
parts of-
private and public sector gets tax cuts when you hire a person of color.
Government agencies don't pay taxes. Government agencies are funded by the government.
That is not true. That is not true.
And this face is the face that anybody with a brain or paid attention in civics class would understand. Like this is but those very same Trump supporters get mad, get upset when you call them stupid. When you treat them like they're stupid, they get upset. They get mad. They say you're elitist because you think you have an education. No, motherfucker, it's because you're stupid. If you work for the federal government, I used to be a purchasing agent. I used to deal with the money. I used to be supplied for the government and for the federal government as a civilian. When you use that GCPC card, when you make purchases with federal money with private institutions, corporations, and private entities, you have to submit a federal a sales tax exemption form with every purchase, because they cannot charge the federal government fucking taxes. If you buy anything with that card or with government funding and they charge you taxes, you can get in trouble. So you must call them and tell them if they did, because sometimes it happens that they have to remove the taxes from that purchase. People who don't know that the federal government is not a private company or corporation is crazy to me. And this is how he gets the fuck over on y'all dumbasses. This is why the entire economy can tank within 3 months of this man being in fucking office. And all of a sudden the narrative shifts to, well, Biden faked the market. It was overinflated. Mind you, the Atlanta GDP thing that does all the stocks and economy and all that shit had us going into a bullish market prior to Trump getting in office and doing all this dumbass shit. But he could do that because y'all are fucking stupid. He could tell y'all he's going to lower the prices of your fucking groceries, even though that has nothing to do with the president. He can't control any of that. But he can tell y'all that, and you'll believe it because you're stupid. Then, when everything that he promised y'all during the campaign trail does not happen, he can tell y'all, hey, American citizens, we got to go through the pain and the suffrage and the struggling. You all gonna have to bite the bullet during this goddamn recession. Y'all gonna have to be hungry and starving and lose y'all jobs and shit. But on the end of it, we're gonna be a better country. Cause you're fucking stupid. There was nothing that anybody could have said to change these not smart people's minds. Nothing they did, no policy, none of that was gonna change, was gonna infiltrate. You can't add something to nothing, and it don't be nothing in there with these people.
Private and public sector gets tax cuts when you hire a person of color.
Government agencies don't pay taxes. Government agencies operate on, are funded by the government.
That is not true. That is not.
It's motherfuckers like you that I can't stand because you like to weaponize your complexion to keep the rest of us under oppression. First of all, you're not white, bitch, and you damn sure can't pass a brown paper bag test. Number two, when the fuck are y'all gonna learn that white adjacency doesn't exist? It is white, no other, and person of color. I want every person of color to say this shit with me. You will never, ever, 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 ever be white. You would have thought y'all would have learned your lesson when Asians went after affirmative action when it came to college admissions, but y'all don't learn shit. And these glasses must be for fashion because you damn sure ain't reading for a motherfucker. There is no fucking jobs giving out tax cuts or tax incentives for hiring people of color. But what I think you're referencing is this, the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, which incentivizes businesses for giving a job to those who would normally have a barrier that would stop them or prevent them from getting a job. That means those who might be veterans, those who might have disabilities, those who might have felonies, people who are re-entering into society, they could give up to $9,600 to these businesses for taking a chance on those who are trying to be better. It does not specifically say it has to be a person of color. The problem is, you think criminality is synonymous with POC, when in fact, we just elected and hired someone who's a fucking felon to be the commander-in-chief of the United fucking States, so we all deserve a motherfucking tax credit.
Government agencies don't pay taxes. Government agencies operate on, are funded by the government.
That is not true.
I mean, Jubilee's Jubilee, but whatever. I see everyone's upset that the MAGA bro, the guy with the glasses, gets to have a vote just like us. A person that doesn't understand how government agencies work. And he's talking about DEI. Shout out to Sam for sticking and getting through that. However, there's way more things in this video that I need to point out. Like, for example, the typical MAGA bro look has changed. I'm going to address that first. It has, shout out to them, become, dare I say, more inclusive. But I think that's just really post-COVID. I really think that's just a number of people who don't really know politics or should not be involved in politics and just see MAGA as a gateway, like as an entrance to it, right? As you can see in that video, right? Just understanding how government works, period. But there's two more things I want to point out here.
That is not true. That is not true. And you know what? I think the whole juxtapose of this entire conversation.
What month is this?
This is January.
How did the whole juxtapose of this whole conversation not piss anybody off like it did with me? You're not even using words right. And I know you're not using words right because it leads me to my third point, right? You found a big word, the juxtapose of this whole conversation. The juxtapose of what? Of what? Of what? The juxtapose of what conversation? What? That doesn't make sense, right? We're talking about, does government agency pay taxes? That's what he's talking about. What's the juxtapose? What's the juxtapose? Unless you're trying to say your original point. But it leads me to my third point, right?
Agency to say if you have a job opening, you must do your best efforts to make sure that every
I like that.
part
I love
of
me a
society.
buzzword. You must do your best effort. I love that buzzword.
Okay.
Again, just trying to own the lib. I love that buzzword. Words mean things. Buzzword. So a word. You must do your best. How is that a buzzword? And that lets me know that you didn't know what you were doing when you used the word juxtapose, right? A buzzword, it refers to one single word. It refers to one buzzword. I love that. All he said was you must do your best. See, and this is why I couldn't be Sam. I wouldn't even get through the argument. And bro still got through the argument, and the conservatives are still angry. Oh, this is what liberals do. Intellectualism. I couldn't have been me. I would have been stopping every 2 seconds. Define juxtapose. What are we juxtaposing? What are we juxtaposing? Because at this point, we have a disagreement on what is a fact. How are we disagreeing on fact? Government agencies don't. Okay, I move that aside. Buzzword. Which buzzword did I use?
I don't know if anyone else saw that Jubilee video about like that one like person like arguing with the other person. I honestly don't know their names. I don't watch Jubilee. I just see sometimes like clips of them on TikTok. I don't know if anyone saw them arguing on if government agencies receive tax cuts or if they even pay taxes. But like, basic question, does anyone know what the point of taxes is? Like what your taxes go to? Like, hello, do we understand basic simple understanding of the intentionality of taxes? Like, hello, that's like saying, does the military pay taxes? Like, do you know what your taxes are funding? Like, can we all need to take a class action suit against the government for basic lack of education in the education system, first of all. But second of all, along with this, I hate Jubilee. I saw a video earlier talking about this, is the fact that they don't mention debates or like they don't host debates for like education factors, because if they did, they would have a moderator and they would have fact checkers, because if they had a moderator and if they had fact checkers, they would debunk and like limit how much false information can go out, because a basic fact check can let you know who was correct and who wasn't correct. You know what I mean? And like, this is just harming more people than helping, because a lot of people don't have access to education, and that's not a downfall on them. That's like the fault of the different systems that be. And more often than not, that's disabled people, that's veterans, that's people of color, that's people with learning disabilities that aren't able to access education, you know, books, public libraries, telephones, Wi-Fi, etc., you name it. And so if they are by slight chance seeing a YouTube video like this, and then they see this video and they're hearing two different informations that are contradicting each other, and there's not a moderator there or something that pops up on the screen that says fact check, hey, this information was false, this is the correct information, source, blah, 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 you know, the article. And we need to talk about like primary sources, secondary sources, tertiary sources, because honestly, I just watched a video on that the other day, and I have a degree and I'm getting more degrees now. I'm a student. And that's something we talk about, the different types of sources and the importance of them, because anyone and everyone is stating things as if they're facts when they are truly opinions, and not even that. They're the opposite of facts. They're just like falsehoods. Like, you just are choosing to believe these things. Like, this is fantasy. I love fiction. I love reading fiction, but I can tell it's not reality, and I can tell it's not fact. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we can guesstimate and we can have conspiracy theories like, are mermaids real? But I'm not going to sit here and speak factually as if they are if there is not proof of existence or a source to back it up. You know what I mean? Anyways, Jubilee and literally MAGA, because they just spew nonsense and they don't fact check it. Like, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And this is why I say morals shouldn't be debated, because at the end of the day, my blood pressure right now, no.
What are two clips that give off the same energy?
DEI essentially provides tax cuts for the end of the year. When you create your tax returns, they give you a tax credit for hiring someone who is black or a person of color.
We're talking about government agencies that do not get tax cuts. They don't, government agencies.
They don't.
No,
yes, they do. They absolutely do.
I'm talking about
every private and public sector gets tax cuts when you hire a person of color.
Government agencies don't pay taxes. Government agencies operate on, are funded by the government.
That is not true. That is not true. And you know what? I think the whole juxtapose of this entire conversation.
You even know what a write-off is?
Yeah. It's when you buy something for your business and the government pays you back for it.
Oh, and who pays for it?
Nobody. You write it off.
Who writes it off?
I don't know. The write-off people. What? Why are we having this conversation?
That's not a write-off. That's not a write-off. This? Not a write-off.
Oh, well, the betting's non-refundable, so.
David, a write-off is a business expense used to reduce your taxable income.
Okay, well then, why isn't it called a tax write-off?
It is! It is. You can't just buy things for yourself.
This is all I got from this video, and sincerely speaking, I think like what the lady talked about is true, like fact checking moderators and all of that, because um with source too, like this is where we are calling our source from. This is what you said, this is not right, and this is the right thing. And see, I don't know why some people really want to be white so bad. The Asian guy, I don't understand. Or maybe is he ignorant, or he just doesn't know, or I don't know his age, right? And I really do not want to also beat him like so bad. And but I think some certain things, because tax code, I don't understand his own level of his level of understanding and his level of education so far. But I think all these things are what civic education, like will be able to teach like students as they start growing and the rest of it. I mean, government institutions do not pay tax because they are the tax collectors, right? So they don't pay tax. This is something you should know. And the fact that he is also trying to lie, sorry, not even insisting and doubling, tripling, quadruple down on like what he said is actually correct. That's why it's like the lady said, there is need for fact check so that they will know that I messed up and I have to learn from this, instead of like just continue arguing without fact checking his point. And when I tell you that, you see these people, this is also one of the reasons why they voted against affirmative action, because they thought we are the sole benefactors of affirmative action. And they felt like, we went back and forth 2 years ago, if I am not mistaken. And eventually they struck out affirmative action, and they found out that they really Pe0ple themselves on their legs. So sometimes I love seeing them F around and then finding out that real faffle, you know, and the fact that some of them are also being used as pawns against themselves and the rest of it even makes it even worse. How can I be a black person and as a black person, and I am not speaking up? Like now that I know that I am trying not to be on my own people's side, trying to side white supremacists, right? First of all, you secure your own future before before looking for someone else's own to secure. Except the person you are trying to secure will also make your life better. But aside from that, these people ain't even ready to make your life anything good and all of that. Task code for DEI. I mean, you already need to go back to school and learn some fundamental aspect of some certain things, because tax cut is people that pay taxes. I don't think it's hard, but I am also still not trying to flog him, right? Because I said I don't know his age. But if he is old enough to come out there and talk about Republicans and talk about DEI, how they cut money taxes for people for hiring black people and other people, that means he's also supposed to know that government agencies do not pay taxes. Just like the woman said, he's telling a military man to pay tax, or a navy or something to pay tax. I am going to draw the curtain here. Let me know what you all think. I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.